And we're live. Welcome to Glenn's Basement. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
How are you guys?
Not cold anymore.
That's true.
That's nice.
The polar vortex is over.
Until
For
next
now.
week.
Negative 50 wind chill temps in the Midwest is rough.
I'm really, really excited about reminiscing on the story I'm going to say today because a lot of sunshine and being on the lake is going to be a part of it. So it's feeling real good already.
Oof. Big oof.
So today's theme is, what were your childhood ambitions and dreams? And what did you do, or maybe not do, to achieve them? And Larry, I think you're going to start first.
Okay, I specifically remember being in like elementary school, and we had this like student teacher roll in, and had this class of elementary kids. Like,
Number one, was she hot?
I was like 8, so
Everybody's hot when you're 8.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
so
pretty
yeah.
much.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like me? Yes.
Why my pee-pee hard?
You don't learn about that until you're 9.
I was an early bloomer on the hard pee.
Man.
This is a bad start. This is a bad start.
No, I got a side story. So,
Already?
yeah. So I was probably 8, maybe early 9, and on the playground of my elementary school there was like a big jungle gym, and then there was this thing that looked like a caterpillar, and then one that looked like a snail, and then over in the far corner there was this dome-shaped jungle gym with swings around the outside of it, and we call it the spider. But only 4th and 5th graders were allowed to play on that, and the little kids would just get bullied if they went over there. so
this wasn't a rule by the school.
The school actually
this is just
enforced
social,
this.
like hierarchy.
Yeah, they would like actively discourage young children from going over there and stop them. So I had just graduated to being on the spider. I'm playing on it. I'm swinging on it after school, and on one of the swings, someone carved "Let's fuck." So I'm like, what does that mean? So I went home and I go, Mom, what does "let's fuck" mean? And she sits me down and she draws a crude naked woman and is like, this is what fuck means.
What?
So I went to school the next day and I told all my friends, I know what the swing means. And that's how we all got sex ed a year early.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty juicy, man.
All right, Larry,
All
you're 3
elementary
seconds
school,
into your story.
Yeah,
so.
we're like 8 or 9 or something like that, and we have a student teacher come in and ask us like, let's talk about careers and maybe possible jobs that you guys aspire to being or something like that. So we pick like 3 careers maybe that we want to be, and then the student teacher, we had some like books where we could look at like what kind of education you might be required of you to achieve this career, and then like maybe what your mean income is or something like that. And I remember I was that little kid who was like, I want to be president.
Lofty.
So she's like, okay, so let's think congressman of some sort or whatever.
You're like, no,
that's
bitch, that's what I said.
Precisely.
I can't learn in this environment. I pushed my Mac 2 off the
You know,
counter.
be really fucked like 30
You know
years
what
from
I'm
now,
thinking? I'm
running
thinking
for
you need.
president.
I'm thinking you need to become a better hearer.
Yeah. I see that you're hearing me, but you ain't fucking listening. No, but anyways, she's like, so let's do like Congress, like a representative or something like that. And
you're
then
like, whatever.
I was like, whatever that is, all right, let's do that.
I mean, I said president, but
Sounds
sure.
lame, but okay.
I just remember being like real disappointed in that. So, and then like 2 years later, all of a sudden,
I
what
was
was
on the
that
campaign trail.
True. But for a totally different thing. What I joined Young Astronauts or whatever, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Like 3rd grade, I think is when that starts.
What's
3rd or
Young
4th grade?
Astronauts?
Oh, you don't know? Or you
No, my
fucking-
school didn't have that.
Oh, okay. Young Astronauts is like this program.
Oh, was that the
after-school
thing where you
program.
went to like space camp?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Like
I
after-school
remember seeing that on
program
Nickelodeon.
But anyways,
All the
but it
rich
was like
kids doing
once
that.
a week thing where after school we would like go in the computer lab and like learn stuff about space or whatever. And we took a lot of trips and stuff like that, like to Purdue. That was the nice thing about being in Indiana is we had Purdue, which is where a lot of astronauts came from. A lot of pilots and stuff like that
True.
went through there. So you got Buzz Aldrin and like
Buzz
Glenn.
Lightyear, Glenn Close,
No, what is his last name?
Lance Armstrong.
No.
Nigga.
Lance Armstrong.
Dude, these are all the greats. What are you talking about?
Right, true.
Yes.
Anyways, whatever.
Glenn.
But anyways, Purdue
Pluto.
was a good like hub for that kind of little thing or whatever that we're doing. And then eventually, once you get up to 6th grade, you become a lot more involved in it or whatever, and then you end up going. But anyways, by 4th grade, I had in my mind that I was going to be an astronomer because that had a high probability of becoming an astronaut.
Nice.
Like if you aren't pilot, then next on the list is like physicist or astronomer, which actually kind of go hand in hand. Like you can't be an astronomer without being a physicist, I feel.
It's not too late. You have the physical endurance to be an astronaut.
I mean, it's still relative to things that you're really strong in. I mean, it's still math.
Right. And then I got in my mind that I was gonna go to MIT, and I was gonna
Whatever that is.
Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I was so sure that was gonna be my future. I was like gonna be an
Ooh-wee.
astronomer,
Spicy.
and then maybe become astronaut. And I mean, I was obsessed with all things space at the time. I had like glowing
Yes.
star map on my
Yes.
on the ceiling
Star
right above
map.
my bed. Yeah, it wasn't just like normie like glow in the dark stars. It was like
Yes.
a glow in the dark star map.
Yes, with constellations and all planets. Yeah.
And
Like one of those new Rolls Royces with
yeah, buddy.
the star ceiling.
Ooh,
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah.
That
You guys not
sounds
seen
really
this?
cool.
No.
Oh, all right.
That's my next car, I guess.
Right.
So-
I didn't know, but now I
Wait.
know. You know,
Right, like, so someone has to drive you around because you'd be distracted.
I kind of want to like get one of those star dome things, the
You
centerpiece.
can buy those. Yeah, those are,
yeah.
they're not even that much.
What?
Yeah.
I need one. I don't...
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you
that's
can
juicy.
you can do
Hey,
this.
blow that up. Maybe we can see this on the camera over there.
Oh, hold on.
No, you gotta
You
the
control
image.
and zoom.
Yeah,
you
no,
can do that
sorry.
too.
Open. Link and new.
Sure,
Is that how you do it?
that works. Big,
No. That,
just control.
No, not the link.
Scroll
oh.
in. You can do that.
Yeah.
Yeet.
That's juice. Even on the like sidebar there.
Ooh-wee.
So you
Where's
can
that brown at? Let's get that brown.
you can
letter.
have it in.
Oh.
Any
Mhm.
Oh, so the new one is shooting stars where it'll pulsate through
Ooh, that's clean, dude.
the original one was the lights above their factory in Goodwood.
Oh,
But you can have whatever constellation you want put in.
So wait, is this like a screen?
No, it's in the fabric. There's little LED or fiber optic wires
Okay,
that run through it.
Whoa.
that's
I'm gonna need that.
that's next level, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Why would anyone even think to do that?
I don't know,
That's
but
pretty
it's like a
dang.
$25,000 option.
Oh God.
So it's like, do you want a convertible? Nah. Well, but I'm still trying to see the stars though. I'm still trying to get some fuck in the back of my Rolls Royce
shopping.
with the underneath the
How
stars.
do you
know?
Oh,
not
we,
get
we
some
can do
fuck
it
in that.
ourselves for just $128.81.
And a whole lot of frustration, I feel.
Oof.
This one can do 8 different colors.
450 pieces, may I just remind you?
450
Why is
That's
it
a
not?
lot of pieces.
pieces.
All right, that's pretty sweet.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah. I'm gonna have to,
All right,
That's the future. Oh, but anyway, so
stars.
yeah. I was pretty obsessed with.
Oh, 12,000. What a bargain.
But that one's
Whoa.
not the dank one.
True.
1,600 individual fiber optic lights.
I'm sorry, I just totally derailed the story with this.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I mean, it's totally
That's-
related. I mean, I was pretty sure that was still gonna be my life until about middle school, and then I was like, oh, yeah, I don't want to work so hard anymore.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The
was
middle
like-
school blues.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. There's a lot more classes.
Whoa.
The workload's getting a lot heavier all of a sudden.
I was like,
Did you just tell my story?
I just don't want to do this anymore. No, it was
so
like
your interest in space didn't fade though.
no, of course not. I still love it all. I love stargazing or whatever, and I mean, I even had like a telescope when I was a kid.
Telling girls what Polaris is, I know that. That's one of your signature date moves there back in the old days.
No, it was relatable because people know what Polaris, like, the company is or whatever, and I was like, you know what the origin of that is?
Beetlejuice.
Josh hears me say that one time, and all of a sudden it's my signature move.
Signature move, dude.
uh,
I remember being
60% of the time, every time it works.
15, and I just remember that being just... I didn't know anything about game, but I saw Larry do that, and I go, I'm pretty sure that's the opposite of what you're supposed to say right there. That's not game. That's not it. That's not how that works, I don't think, dude. But, I mean, it was all right. I was interested. That's when I knew I was interested in what he was saying, I was like, I don't think this is working on them, dude.
No homo.
Right. Like, I was like, and then they were like, do you still have your dog?
I've decided that if you ain't got the height or the build, just get a dog, dude.
Just get a dog. Get a Pomeranian.
It's the ultimate equalizer.
Or a Corgi right now.
I think women like medium dogs now.
Husky,
medium.
Very. We took Bandit to the lakefront once.
Ooh.
Swarmed.
Yep.
By college girls there on spring break.
I'm sure.
You just want to get a dog and just go to the beach, dude?
I don't want a dog, man.
I mean, I'll take care of the dog. Like,
I just really don't want a dog.
Just not Fiona. Like she can't go to the beach.
You know, true.
Why?
That's another story on another time.
The off chance that there'd be some other animals.
One other dog.
She aggressive.
Yeah, she's real aggro with other animals.
Bandit's the ultimate party god.
Loves them all.
Mm-hmm. He tried to play with the water, and he like jumped at it, and then it was like just far enough out where it like drops down a foot. He got submerged. He flew out.
All right. So the workload got too heavy.
Yeah. And then I was like, it's too lofty. So like by the time I was rolling into high school, I was like, mechanical engineer probably. And then that turned out, I was like, that sounds a little like work too. And I was like, all that kind of went away, and now I just have no idea what I want to do with my life. So. Yeah. But when I was a kid, I had it all figured out, man. That was great.
Do you remember what your third thing was? So you said astronaut.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what the other know what the other one was.
Professional podcaster.
Achieved.
1 out of 3 ain't bad.
Not in baseball anyway, right?
Batting 333, I like it.
It's Hall of Fame right there.
It is, man. Bat 300, you're good, man.
Yeah. Ooh.
I don't know. Yeah, that was other aspirations. I don't know. Not a lot. That was about it. I was like, I wanted to either be in space or in control of the country. Nothing in between.
Either I go to space or no one does.
In my hands. I got the whole wide world in my hands.
Although I would I would die to be a part of one of the launches.
Colonization mission.
No, like one of the launches,
Columbia.
Too soon.
No, like the Curiosity launch to Mars,
for sure.
What's the one that went past Pluto? What's that name? What's the name of that project?
Pluto a go-go.
We're not talking about your fucking porn name.
Yeah.
Don't dox me.
So it's 2019. You're 27 now.
Yeah.
If you had to drop everything and do something, what would it be the thing?
Porn star, I don't know. Can't work out my stroke.
Professional swimmer.
Yeah, pussy.
Yeah, boy.
Hell yeah.
No, like really.
That's
Or
a
is
show,
that
folks.
really? Is that really?
Professional cam girl.
Dude, you can do that now. I don't know. That's not even a joke. Just do it. You got skinny abs and tattoos. Dude.
Those
You're
student
good.
loans ain't paying themselves.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You got like you got
only
enough
prob-
hair for a happy
The
trail,
only
right?
problem, the only problem with doing that is I legit would be like it would be all guys, and I could not act interested in their desires. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Dude, you
that's
don't
half
have
the
to. There's a niche for that too. You know what I'm saying?
I guess that's true.
No, you're like, I'm a straight dude. I want dudes in here, and then dudes come in and they're like, I feel good about this. Dude, I'm, don't.
You seem well
we're joking around here, but
Tip.
it wouldn't be like a rally driver or something like that. Like, if you had to do
on
anything.
the real, yeah, I actually do have a great passion for like competitive driving. It's always like something that maybe when I get older, I would love to be in like a motocross league or a rallycross league. That would be really fun. Autocross, I mean, not
Autocross,
motocross.
yeah.
Autocross.
Not motor. No.
Yeah, not motocross.
No.
No, I'm out. on
Not
that.
trying.
No,
Especially when you're
autocross
older.
Needs more monster.
Yeah, I'm
Needs more monster. In flannel.
My first car is gonna be like a fucking Volvo, and it's gonna have a big old green M on the front of it.
And it's going to be lowered for some reason.
Hell yeah.
But somehow you shoved all-terrain tires under the fenders.
You just want a popcorn engine. That's all you want. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
That'd be
a
dank.
four-cylinder that
I would
sounds
even
nice.
take
That's all
like an
anybody
off-road
wants.
fucking bug, dude. That'd be dank.
Woo!
Just boost it up to like 250 horse. That'd be enough,
Faust,
dude.
dude.
You got to get the one with the headlights that have like flower patterns on them.
No, the eyelashes.
Oh, yeah. It's got the little flower pot on it.
That would be awesome.
Stripped down interior, but
you-
instead of a flower, it's a Can of 4
Could you
logo.
imagine being top 3 or something all the time and that fucking obstruct, like that fucking monstrosity of a fucking car? You're just like,
you have to be top 3.
I would have to get like
Yeah,
I would have to get like motorized.
Or else you're actually a meme if you're
I
not
would have
top
to get like
three, right?
motorized like shutters on the fucking headlights so it like winks at them. That'd be awesome.
Blink, blink, come passing you.
But then it's actually not a Beetle, and it's a NA Miata with pop-up headlights that do that.
Okay.
Actually, I saw a video.
I'd like to see a Miata on some dirt. See how that goes.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're doing it
Oh,
again.
that's autocross.
We're
though.
safaring again.
Yeah. Oh.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna be super grainy.
Oof. That's,
Dude, that looks like a budget build for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That looks
Ooh, what
doable.
was the Toyota car that was real popular for the rally?
The
The old, like the 80s.
MR2, right?
MR2 was one. One of them was like a hatch kind of build look. Was that
Yeah,
the old
that-
Corollas?
Corolla.
Are you sure they weren't both MR2? Because the MR2.
Am I thinking of the Stratus or whatever? I think I'm thinking of the Stratus, which is who's the maker for that?
Oh, Dodge Stratus.
Or the Lancia?
No, yeah, that's what Stratus. Yeah,
Oh,
Lancia
okay.
Stratus. That.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
That looks pretty mean.
Yeet.
Hell yeah. That
Little
looks
fastback.
pretty sweet.
Yeah. That one was like real popular, real famous.
What is it called? Oh man, there's this Renault I saw. I was watching this video.
Renault
Yeah.
Clio rally car, dude. I don't know if it
No,
I feel like we need to see it anyway. I don't know, that might be what you're talking about, but
That was one of these.
Maxi Turbo.
The Turbo 2 is what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That one's super famous.
You can import one of these to the US now.
Oof.
That is kind of sweet.
Kind of sweet. That's. Does it get any more pretty than that
This
for a fast hatch?
This has got me feeling some type of way,
It
guys.
does, man. Me too. It's a great line. It's a great classic kind of line.
Ooh-wee.
Man. Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Wait, they used to make something like this though, called the Dodge Spirit or whatever. That looked or the Colt. Is it Dodge? Ford? Colt?
No idea. Yeah,
Not
that's
that one.
not quite the same, but
No. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's the same.
I mean,
That's pretty much the same.
this is the traditional American version.
Yeah, dude. That's
For sure.
Yeah, the American tried
This
to do
is the
the
best
same.
Detroit could do.
Yeah, exactly.
this is
No,
not
they made rally
making
ones
me-
though. They made rally versions.
Yeah,
Of it.
I'm sure, but this is not making me feel in some kind of way.
Wait, what are you doing to me, man? Why you got console control out, dude?
That's still
Eh.
not doing it for me, boyo.
That's what I'm thinking of right there. That one.
Yeah. What you really should do is get a Yugo. Rally Yugo.
Hell.
Makes
yeah.
15. But you had to like lawnmower swap it.
No,
with,
what was
like,
the one we saw?
Craftsman
it was the Prius.
engine.
It wasn't a Prius. It was
Yaris.
Yaris. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
dank.
dank.
All right. So Glenn, you trying to get a story in or what?
Yeah. But I feel like my story might almost be too similar to Larry's.
Whoa.
Dude, it follows. Except instead of being the president, I really wanted to be an architect when I was little. And I remember I have this distinct memory of being in the backyard of my grandparents' house while my grandma was like hanging laundry out to dry on their, wind hanger that, they used for laundry in the olden days.
Clothesline?
Yeah, the clothesline.
Wind hanger. I like that better though.
And I was like thinking about like all the cool buildings I was gonna design and thinking to myself like working in this like high rise and going to events that architects go to. And then I did really good. And that was when I was like probably the same age as Larry, maybe a little younger, maybe like 7 or 8. And then I did really well all through elementary school, like always on a roll and straight A's or almost. And then I got to middle school and I was like, video games.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do homework now to understand. And that got me fucked up.
Did anyone feel like video games might have... Nah, video games are...
In retrospect, it wasn't the video games. It was me, right? Yeah. And my parents really tried to make me, study and apply myself, and I could have, and I could have done that, and I could have still played a lot of video games.
Do either of you think that you had any good study habits back in high school and middle school?
Oh no, I didn't develop.
Did you even know how to study?
Mm-mm.
No,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
did. I just chose not to.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I just didn't even.
It just washed over me.
No, I understood. Like I was hearing what they were saying. Like do 30 minutes here and there every once in a while, but I was doing no
None of that.
minutes anywhere.
I would have
At any time, at any point.
It's like if I got what Larry calls the brain struggle, I just shut down,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't. I had this wave of like primal fear or something that I couldn't overcome on. Like sitting there and making myself concentrate.
Hard.
Yeah.
I don't want.
Yeah, man, I was being a real pussy about it until I went like back to college, as like a mid-20-year-old. Oh yeah. Pull that shit up, Jamie.
Pull that shit up, Jamie. It's still not doing it.
You know what this reminds me of? A Subaru Justy.
Wait. This is just a Civic, isn't it? I don't know.
It's a badge engineered.
Okay, so after the architect thing, dude, like what was like your path? What was the
Dude, after I got out of 5th grade, it was dark times.
And boy, did it take a few years.
I had no path until
there was like nothing in your brain telling you to like kind of do anything, like
no, man, I was just like
no direction.
I was like this weird little neckbeard 12-year-old or 11-year-old that just wanted to play video games and
Yeah.
Did you ever have that like feeling like you wanted to be a developer?
like a game. Oh, yeah, I guess I did think about that when I was a kid.
I see.
Like,
I'm sure you had
But then-
thoughts about some type of career as a kid.
It was like, oh yeah, I should do that. But then I never thought about programming or
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even really know how, people write code and it becomes video games and they, do animations and they pack all of this stuff in. I never even thought about how that worked. I was just like, I like games, so I'm going to make games.
I'm sure I can make these games real good. I play games all the time. I know exactly what they need.
Yeah, basically. That was the...
When they had that big monster, I would have put 2 of them there, and it would have been more fun.
I was the armchair
Storyboard game design
spectator.
is a thing too.
For
like,
sure.
The normies behind the desk, like creating the animations, are not the people that are creating
Some
the
people
story
are just
or whatever. You know?
think tank
Yeah,
people.
yeah, exactly.
Strictly just coming up with ideas. They don't know how to express it or how to make it happen or what, but they just have the idea.
There's like artist renderings and stuff like that. Like they're just drawing the basics.
As
of
we
things,
see
so.
from musicians nowadays, it's really hard to come up with original ideas sometimes. So you got to have somebody that's doing that, right? Like you got to have somebody that's capable of creating an original ideas.
You know what? I don't think as I've tried to work on music production and my own artistic outlets, I don't think it's not necessarily, I mean, sometimes having good ideas is hard, but sometimes you come up with something and you're like, that's really good, but then how do I turn this from like 4 bars right into 3 minutes of music?
Right.
That's the really hard part.
It is.
And
I think
how
also,
it doesn't become repetitive. How
right.
It, yeah,
you
right.
want to try to find a way to make it fresh and unique, right?
Yeah.
it's like if
Not
you
That's why the soft, loud, soft is such a like fairly easy concept to get around and use, but also to make things seem fresh without changing a whole lot. Without having. I mean, that's why that combination is so good. Is that you don't have to worry too much about changing a beat or changing a riff or whatever. Like as long as you can kind of fluctuate, just kind of using just volume and stuff like that. Like that's what makes that such an easy like format to go right.
And I always thought when I was younger, like I listened to a lot of classic rock and old music, and I always thought there's so much more variety here than pop music or whatever, which is true to some extent, but really even if you just have 4 chords, the amount of variation you can have is really staggering. And doing things with dynamics and layering other sounds, it's like when you're looking at a paint
arpeggiate a chord,
yeah,
the way you pick it, the strumming pattern, like all of it.
and when you look at like a painting, you see like the painting, right, but you don't see all the minute details that went
Have you
into
watched the Axis of Evil video of the decades of songs via 4 chords? Like the Axis of Evil.
Oh, actually, maybe that sounds.
It's like a group. I think they're like a comedy music group or something. I don't really.
I know what you're talking
100%
about,
sure.
so I must have seen it.
Yeah, probably. Where they just like go through like all the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s music, like just with the same 4 chords over and over again. Or I don't even think they went through the decades. I think they just went from like a Journey song to a Bruno song to a Bon Jovi song to just like, and you're just like, oh shit, like I know this song too, or like a Beatles song, and you're like.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you're looking at things from traditional music theory, no matter what key you're in, right, you sort of in picking chords and making some sort of foundation for your music, there's not really that much variety, right? That sounds good.
It's a finite amount. And
right,
what sounds
there's
good
like,
is
usually there's some kind of progression where here's the foundation, here is some dissonance, here's something different, and then here's the resolution. Like usually, and then it always comes back like in that cycle or whatever. Like there's always some start, some kind of conflict of something in the middle, and then some type of resolution, and that's almost all music.
But that's specifically,
except for mathcore.
That's why I really
Then it's just
like jazz, right? And I guess mathcore too, right? Because it's got like compared to like normal pop music, for example, where it's just C, F, G, E, or whatever. There's a lot of chaos and dissonance in it, and the way it manages to resolve itself, but the way it hangs too, is really pleasing to my brain. So and it happens. It seems to me in a sort of different way than even really related stuff like traditional blues or rock and roll or I guess that's why I like the really jazzy hip hop, right? Is because it has combines the sort of rhythmic thing that is very satisfying with a certain amount of emotive chaos
and like unpredictable, right? Like for a second, if we talk about like Doom, for example, sometimes like until you've like really listened to him a good amount or whatever, and even then, I don't know if that makes you like like somebody that like a expert on it, but like just by listening to the beat, you don't always know when he's gonna come in or when he's gonna stop, or you know what I mean. Like whereas like a lot of rappers, like how the beat goes, it's like okay, this is when they're about to come in, and then they do their 16 or whatever bars, and then they go out. Then there's like the chorus or the hook or whatever, and then they go into their next set of bars. Like Doom, it's like or just but like lo-fi and like jazzy hip hop in general is like okay, this beat already is hard to like understand or track. And then when is
that is specifically why I really love like lo-fi and trip hop.
Yeah.
Because especially lo-fi hip hop, because there's no expectation about what it's supposed to be, and so people will have weird chops in their samples, and sometimes they'll have weird filters. It'll just stop and then goes and it's like a broken record or something. And
like clips, like sound clips, like Doom does a lot of like cartoon and and movies and that kind of thing. Just like you're just like, wait, what just happened? Like I went from hearing a beat to this dude rapping to like now I'm just listening to an 80s cartoon soundbite. Like what the fuck?
And in hip hop especially, I think there's a lot of nuance and density that can be realized in the lyric writing that I don't necessarily see in other song genres. It's like you listen to something a lot of times and you still pick up new stuff, or you learn about something else and then you like, oh, I understand there's this reference that's buried in here.
Do you think
now.
a lot of it has to do with just how much they're saying more than a regular song? Just because of how much more they're packing into like that 3.5 minutes as opposed to like a rock song that gets to do two.
Maybe I think a lot of it too is the root of hip hop, which was scavenging for different sounds and
from the disco era.
a certain amount of like cleverness, because if you're just freestyling or whatever, and having fun with your friends and dissing each other, and then you come up with really clever like ways to do that on the spot, and then it sort of took that and
because it started before hip hop could even have been hip hop. It was just taking records and scratching and just trying to make something a little almost counterculture to the disco age back in the mid to late 70s or whatever. It was like, okay, like this is all that's going on in the disco era. Like it's just somebody's DJing, but really, they're just playing this. And they were taking that and like kind of mixing, scratching, making it sound weird, choppy, like, and then people were just trying to like, before it was really like hip hop, it was just somebody was trying to get on the mic and just say a couple things or hype the crowd up or like I've got like this quick little bar or like it was, and honestly and not to get too far into the culture, but it was like a lot of it has to do with could it even have happened without how the black culture was, you know what I mean? Like
oh no,
they're very creative with their language as it is, and like just kind of like these quick little sayings that kind of rhymed and stuff, and it was like that's something that like the only people that were really doing that outside of like the black community was like maybe disc jockeys, like radio jockey people, because like on the radio people say this like it's Mike late at night, like something like quick, something that's kind of sounds like a rhyme, like so then it just progressed. Like
rock and roll had the same sort of counterculture route too, right? But I don't know why, and I'm not gonna try to be like a oh man, what is the word I'm thinking of? Like a person that studies humans, like an or like anthropologist about it. But it's the whole hip hop movement, it seems much more poetic or something. Then
For sure.
and it's like a really important piece of like cultural documentation of suffering or something.
Definitely.
In a way that rock and roll wasn't, because I don't know. I'm not gonna go into like race about it
Right.
because I'm just gonna say stupid stuff probably that I don't know enough about. But I don't know how my story got on this.
Anyway. No, but anyway, like Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix, worth checking out. I don't know. That's about as much information as I have, but but it explains everything. I mean, there's a few other things on Netflix too, but like Netflix is a good resource for some really well put together documentaries about where it started, talking to some of the originators like African Bubata and stuff like that. That was like really bringing it.
Speaking of documentaries, have you guys ever seen it's one called Going Clear, and it's about Scientology.
I have not seen
how
it.
Scientology started.
I've heard of it.
It is some wild.
Is it on Netflix?
No, it's not. But if you Google it, you can just find like just make sure you have ad block on.
Okay.
You can find a place to watch it. But man, it's crazy.
Yes.
And like L. Ron Hubbard was just
Wogue.
a nut.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he got like people to believe in all this weird shit, but
So, architect, anything else that was on the list? No, we didn't.
But
oh, you know what? I guess in the same way Larry was like, I'm gonna go to MIT or, and be an astronomer. I always thought I was gonna go to like Harvard and be, like this architect. Or I thought about my parents, because I was really good at reading when I was a kid. They're like, you should be a lawyer, which is like not compatible with my personality at all. I know now. But so maybe I thought about that too.
Sure.
And then it wasn't really until I was in 7th or 8th grade. So I guess I had maybe
So when real estate came in?
yeah, it was like a year or
stockbroker
two, and then
and
I was like, oh, I got interested in real estate when my parents, bought the house that they live in now, and they sold their house. And then I just pictured myself doing real estate stuff, and
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
And here you are.
Yeah, and here I am.
Living out the dream.
Mm-hmm. But I
And
am
going to school to fulfill a different dream.
Yeah, well, I imagine myself, moving to Chicago and doing it.
Selling millions upon millions of
And
dollars.
so if I was going to stay in the business, I would expand the territory I'm working in probably.
For sure.
There's just a lot more happening over there, and the property values, where we live are relatively low, but our cost of living is very low too. So I'd like to, live here and not move.
Definitely.
And just take advantage of Indiana's relatively low taxes. And anyway, so that was what I wanted to do next. So I didn't really do anything about being an architect. I did lots of stuff about being a real.
Did
real
you like
estate
draw
agent.
and stuff like that? Was there anything that
I was a big doodler.
Yeah.
And I like to draw buildings in, my 9-year-old way. But I'm not a skilled drawer.
Right.
And I've never been a skilled artist.
I something that I never even really thought about it like that, but I think I always like really enjoyed maybe a different side of architecture, but more of like maybe not to say this, but like into like design, like home design and stuff. Like I always liked that kind of thing, like floor planning and stuff like that.
Yeah, I really liked doing that. I remember I would draw little buildings in like Microsoft Paint, and I especially liked drawing like blueprint style things, and like laying out how rooms and hallways would be.
For sure.
And I just lost my train of thought. I had something else that was supposed to go with that. I don't know. I don't remember now.
Professional Microsoft painter.
Yeah. If only that was a skill, I would have my PhD.
Skill in drawing dicks on Microsoft Paint, and taking the circle, triangle, and square tool and doing this,
Yeah.
and then filling it with different colors. Yeah,
So
I wish that was a.
Now it's time to take a break where I show you some of Microsoft Paint drawings.
Oh, but we could take a break and hit them with the Glenn's meme corner.
All right.
We're gonna have some fresh memes put out from Glenn for this podcast. Hope
With
you enjoy.
soothing-
We don't know how tasteful they'll be. So.
But they will be dank.
Never tasteful. Always tasty. Those are some
Hell
good
yeah.
memes.
Those were some dank memes,
That
Glenn.
was-
Good
Thank you
job,
for
me, for picking those.
serving up a hot slice of memes, dude.
I'm gonna keep an eye on that RAM now since we're having some technical difficulties every show.
Because all the memes.
I mean,
Take our Instagram poll.
In
Should I
reality-
add more RAM to my computer?
No, that's already yes, I think.
it is balanced out. We've probably lost our worst show and maybe one of our better shows. So kind of like. You know,
What's our worst show?
Probably the last one, the Troy
What?
Auto Show.
I like that one.
The
That one was
podcast,
good.
Dude, I
Really?
thought we had some great stuff going.
Oh man, I feel like we droned on a little bit too much about cars and less about the experience of it.
I mean,
At this point, how does
we
that differ
droned on
from
too much
any?
about cars at the auto show.
At this point,
no,
what?
not at the auto show on the return.
The droning. What the difference between that and all the other podcasts that we've done this far?
Our podcast is literally about us droning.
It's a
I don't know
podcast
about
about
that,
nothing.
Ba-da-dum-bum-bum, ba-dum-bum-bum-bum.
Yeah, I mean, but really.
Ovaltine comes in a round container. They should call it Roundtine.
Ellipsis teen. Mm.
All right, Josh,
hit us
with
them
your story.
Childhood
So-
aspirations.
So,
so
okay.
we can shit on them.
Okay, so before you start shitting on my aspirations, don't worry, my parents and grandparents already did that in my lifetime.
Thank you. Good night.
Anyway, so I think I was about 13 or 14. Went to burn camp because, of course, if you haven't figured it out or if we haven't talked about it yet, I was burned when I was younger. So I was afforded the opportunity to go to a burn camp, which was really cool. And I'm sure we'll get plenty of stories on that. Don't
What?
ask me, Glenn. It's a long story. Go ahead.
Are there arts and crafts at burn camp?
There was.
Did you swim across the lake to the girls' burn camp?
It was co-ed. Yes.
Nice.
It was nice. Anyway. So and every year they always had some really badass field trip or something that we did. One year we went to actually a lot of years we went to the Kalamazoo Kings baseball game for a night or whatever. We would go bowling and rollerblade or
Bowling.
roller rinking and stuff like
So
that.
you had to show them up. You had to
Right,
let them
right,
know
right.
who was.
But we always did something really that was. I mean, there was a lot of highlights, but there would be one that's damn, they spent a lot of money on us and took, 200 kids out or whatever, out
Wow.
to do all these things. So this one was kind of more of an exclusive to the older cabins. So the cabins were divided by age and stuff.
Mhm.
We went to, and I actually remember the name of the surprise. I mean, I know I shouldn't sound that surprised it wasn't an aspiration at some point, but still pretty surprising when I ever remember anything. But I believe that the people or the group or whatever was called Friends of Goodwill, if you wanted to look that up, what they do.
These were the people who had the camp?
No. This was what one of our field trips was.
In South Haven?
Yes,
Oh,
and
American
that is
Museum.
it. That is exactly what I'm about to talk about.
Ooh.
Is we went to this Michigan Maritime Museum. I remember that name based on this webpage. And so we did a bunch of exercises on land first, preparing us for this tall sail ship that we were about to go on.
Haven't got my sea legs.
So,
So you actually went on one of these?
no, there's so much more. But, anyway, so this is a
Wow.
recreation, I believe, of a ship that sailed in the War of 1812, the Indian-French War, right? And I think it was also used for like for trading and stuff like that. So they taught us like all of us individual jobs, and we actually performed those jobs on the ship. So it was like, you know, pulling the sails, and one person controlled this fucking massive like rudder.
Wow.
Boy.
No, that's it. You got it right.
And like
Tiller, is that what it's called?
and we someone got into like the little crow's nest thing. Like there was a little, I was like a seat and like pulleys, and we had to like pulley someone up there, and like everyone got their turn on being up top there.
Wow.
Yeah, so cool.
That's badass.
But while we're doing this, right? So I'm like 14. Like I was not. I wouldn't say I was like really muscular, but I was fairly thinner then, and you know, like I felt like I looked, yeah, right. But I felt like I was like
this doesn't
fairly muscular as like a 14-year-old, and wait, why are we watching Good Will Hunting now? What is this? You've gone too far, man.
Yep.
But back to the tall ship. Anyway, so one of the job that I had, I can't totally remember what it was I was doing, but I remember that we had this fucking thick ass rope, right? And it was like me and like one, you know, adult or whatever, and then another kid, and we were like to just like when they told us to, like we were just gonna grip it and rip this rope, and I remember it being extremely hard, one, and two, super gratifying. Because it was like, you know, you were like putting work in, like working your muscles. Like it felt hard. It felt really taxing. And, you know, it felt real. Like, you know, it was, you know, I mean, obviously it was real, but, or maybe I was in the Matrix. But, yeah, like the rope was just like really gritty and like really rough on your hands. And it was super tough. And like you could feel as this ship started to like perpetuate movement, like really like gain some speed from the wind. So like as you're doing something, physically doing something, a part of like this team of like 20 or whatever kids that we were, you know, you could feel your efforts helping do this, make this thing happen. And you know that it couldn't have been just you. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, sure, they can do it with like 5 or 6 professional people or whatever, but like, it can't ever possibly just be one person on one of these large ones. Of course, people sail by themselves all the time, but, and I remember we started cruising, you know, and then we could chill, like whatever we did, like we knocked it out, and everyone got like a turn at the rudder and stuff, and it was super cool. But it was like, man, I just worked my ass off. Like my muscles like were sore and like my back had hurt and stuff, and we got this ship moving, and it was so cool. It was like eye-opening to like what like manual labor plus like teamwork, and you know, like that at that moment, like, you know, I was just like, I think this is what I want to do. I don't know how you make a career out of this or whatever, like professional pirate. That's what I'm trying to do. Like Somali pirate, AK-47s jumping on boats. No. But like, yeah, I was trying to do whatever these guys did. Like I knew that whatever it was, you know, the freedom of being on that boat, like out on the lake, like looking down and like everything seeming so far away from the boat, and that breeze and the sun, and it just felt free. Felt freeing. And it didn't feel just easy. Like, it wasn't like somebody just hopped in a boat and we just turned the motor on and we're having a good time on the lake. Like, it was like I had to put in some effort. We made this happen as a collaborative effort, and we are now here to enjoy the spoils of that. And I think that's pretty reminiscent of most boat
experiences. So is that why people like sailing, you think?
Yeah.
Because that sounds like a spiritual experience.
For
almost.
sure. Dude, it is epic. And, like, just looking down and seeing, like, waves and stuff that you're like, man, if I was in a regular boat, this would be pretty rowdy. But this thing is just kind of like cruising right through it. But I mean, you can still feel it. And almost all the kids like felt they were like kind of getting sick or whatever. They you know, they just weren't used to it. And dude, I felt right at home. Like they told us about like how you like walking on it sometimes would be tough, and you had to like keep your balance and that. And dude, I just everything felt natural and right. And And this thing, they had it either, I forget if it is a recreation or what, but I don't think there was anything that was modern on it.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't electricity on it. As far as I know, they probably have an outboard engine or something just in case. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. But so I remember going down into the belly of the ship, and they explained how they get light down there. And what they did is they had holes in the deck, and it had a crystal, so that when the light went into the top of the crystal, it was pointed so that it refracted the light inside of the hull. And it was, dude, I just remember just being in love with it. And they were just talking about how sometimes they'd been out for like a week or 2 weeks or whatever, and they had these cots and stuff. And that's all you did. Like, you know what I mean? You didn't need your phone or TV or anything. It was just maintain the boat, make sure the boat's getting handled the way it's supposed to get handled, and going wherever the hell you're supposed to be going or wherever the hell you want to go. And then the rest is, yours. And yeah, man, it was just like, just cruising, just being on the water. Like, it felt so good. It felt so right. Like, and then, you're like, imagination kind of goes with it, because you're like, well, I'm out here on a 75-degree day and it's kind of breezy and everything's cool. Like, you're thinking about storms and rain, and how cool would that be? I'm sure that's a different experience entirely than just experiencing the rain out on land. You know what I mean? Like, being out on a boat during a storm, I'm sure is next level. And yeah, I wanted it. Whatever it was, whatever it meant, whatever I had to do, like, I felt like, dude, that's what I wanted to do.
Did you know then there's such thing as professional
sailors? Yeah.
I mean, you can be a race sailor. Or,
Okie dokie then.
But dude, the tall ship is what got me, dude. I thought shit was just epic.
But that one, the race sailing, you'd have to keep a weight because there's a certain amount of kgs that they want to achieve when you're doing that.
We're gonna have to take a trip up here then.
Yeah, dude.
Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, go to the website again. What is? I mean, I don't know what it is or how it works but I mean, I remember it was dank. Can you just do that?
Oh, education.
On the water experiences? Can we just do it?
Probably.
Summer camp do this.
We can be interns.
Hell yeah.
Interns.
Oh, and I remember, like, some of the people, the guides, probably interns, like, a couple of them were, like, British and stuff. Like, it was people from other nationalities, too, right? So, and they're like, we came here for this. Like, to do stuff exactly like this. And that's what they were there for. Like, and that was, like, the first time I had ever even heard of that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, we're from Indiana. Like, people don't come here to see our corn. Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? So it was like, I refuse to believe people are coming from
come here to see our corn. Thank you very much.
But yeah, I didn't even, that was maybe my problem, my first experience of ever hearing about someone genuinely moving and changing their life to come to anywhere near our area to do something,
Side note, that's one of the things I missed the most about working at Rivers was the diversity.
Sure.
Like, I could go and talk to this Latvian guy, or I could go talk to this Ukrainian girl, I could go talk to this Vietnamese woman, or I could go talk to this Chinese guy.
And then right back to the Ukrainian girl again.
And then
and then back to the Ukrainian girl again.
Yeah.
And then you're only talking to the Ukrainian girl all of a sudden. And...
Yeah, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Or I worked with a lot of Polish people, like off the boat Polish. Like, I mean, I'm talking like just got here, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy. It was fun.
Yes, I would like to gamble, please. You can go on a little cruise.
Hell yeah, dude.
But I don't think that they let you help out.
It's right there, dude. Friends Goodwill ticket price.
$35.
Day sail. Hour and a half cruise, $35 a person.
Sunset cruise.
Ooh. Pirate chaser sail. Oh,
sunset cruise for when you're trying to get some
squid.
Yes.
Some
macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
Some macaroni and cheese. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, that was a different experience.
Hell yeah.
And I had never done anything cool in my life, so I felt like it was the first thing I'd ever. But I remember coming home and just going, "I want to be a pirate. I want to be a pirate." My grandma's like, "The fuck are you on about?" I'm like, "I just want to be a pirate."
What are you on about? Arr! Nigga, arr!
Yeah. Right.
Did you get to walk the plank?
Uh huh.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was sick. It was next level.
Anything, nothing else when you're a kid, you're like, I want to be a police officer. None of that stuff.
A bum. Oh, got it. Done.
Not even like some of
Good
that,
night.
like, not even like, did you catch any of that game designer bug or anything? I feel like a
Nah.
lot of people our age kind of caught that
Nah,
bug.
I was pretty aware of what the hell, dude. That was at that point in my life, I wish I was as aware of computers as I was then, and I wish I would have known how much of an asset it was. Because I remember, dude, I would cruise on XP and people would be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, let me just change the settings here real quick and do some flip this, that, and do," you know what I mean? Like, I knew how to manipulate XP really well, and I'm just sad that I didn't, like, try to carry that over. I just, like, 7 came along or whatever, well, Vista first. And then, 7 or whatever came along, and it was like, yeah, I mean, okay, like, I can navigate it. Like, I can get on fucking porn and make
I
stuff
still
work.
love Vista.
And like, progressively, like, 8, and then 10, and it was like, okay, like, I mean, I still know what I need to do, and you just, like, stop trying to learn about it. And it kind of sucks. I wish I would have, or would spend more time trying to learn about it, but...
Is 7 the last great interface?
XP or nothing, boy.
Actually, I
Or was
think
XP the last?
Windows
7
10 has a really
No, 10 is
good
good.
interface.
Yeah, 10 is
Generally.
good. 8 was garbage.
There's stuff
7 was good.
on
Vista was
10 you
garbage.
can't change that I wish you could. Like,
I just hate
well, I guess
that
I don't have like a microphone, so I could never use Cortana.
Yeah, right?
But like, if you turn it off, then you can't like search your computer for stuff.
You
Yeah, but it's always turned off.
know. But yeah, no, like...
It's got a
I
physical
just,
switch.
it's the fucking, like, it being a tablet now, basically, but with a computer.
Yeah, so it's all like
irritating.
it's
You know,
not programs, it's like applications now.
I was
Right.
thinking about this as, well, I mean, I think programs versus application is like
It's just a
6 in
verb.
one hand and half
well,
dozen in the
yeah,
other.
Is
But
that-
yeah.
but I was thinking about this earlier, and I thought, we're the age of people that really like used computers a lot, and now everybody's just does like mobile, handheld tablets but
Yeah.
to me, there is no better way to navigate around a computer than with a mouse and a keyboard.
Word.
And I really don't like.
Is that, like, are we, like, already, like, classics, like, with that? Like,
Yeah,
are
but
we
I feel
just-
like that's such an outdated way to think about
or
stuff.
almost, yeah, already.
Well, there's something about the precision of it too, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
a finger can only do so much. On
Dude,
a
my
tiny
fingers
screen,
aren't
you know what
accurate
I
as
mean?
fuck. My
Yeah,
hands are
yeah.
shaky. My
yeah, I
fingers
feel
are
like
too
a
fat.
70, yeah, I feel like a 70-year-old on a tablet when people are just... I watched Susie do the fucking swipe text thing, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
I know
yeah, I
swipe
hate
text
that.
too,
Tick, tick, tick,
but I always have to like retype it 5 times. So
Yeah,
it doesn't even
she's
matter.
like-
I don't even know why I do
And
it.
having a nice mechanical keyboard
Ooh.
and the click clack and the
Yes,
little,
boy.
little button feed.
Click,
oh.
clack till I die, dude. I'll
Yeah.
never
Yeah,
use
got
one of
that
those
right.
soft ones ever again, dude.
Mhm. It's true.
I was at Best Buy with Isaac, and we were looking at computers, and they had like a bunch of Alienware ones there,
Mhm.
and I looked at those and I was feeling the keyboards, and I'm like, these are garbage. These are hot garbage.
Do you sit there? Do you sit there and look at Alienware the way I do and go, back in my day,
Yeah.
Alienware used to mean something around here? Like,
Well, they're
Absolutely.
actually kind of trying to bring that back.
Yeah,
Have
they're-
you seen the Area 51 laptops?
dude, they're good. I mean, they've never not been good.
Whoa.
But have you seen the price tags on all of them?
Oh yeah, but I mean, okay, but for
Okay,
real,
but-
they were like way ahead of everyone, right,
True,
for a long
for
time.
sure.
But I think now that they're actually trying to do that again, like
Trying
as
to
far
do it.
as like pre-made stuff goes, like the Area 51 fucking laptop is bonkers. Like it's an upgradable laptop, and it's like you can do whatever you want with it.
That's
you
the
can
future.
overclock.
That's the future.
That's
I mean,
like
it is.
that's next level, dude.
Mm-hmm. Well, now the big thing too is that at least Nvidia's graphics cards on the architecture is so small now that there's no thermal difference. To make a mobile chip, so it's the same
Yeah.
literally
You've
the same
seen the
hardware.
microcomputers now, right? Like these
Oh
these
yeah, the
squares that are this big, dude.
little, like the Raspberry Pis,
Yeah,
the
fucking next
systems
level,
on
dude.
chips. Yeah.
next level.
Actually,
Just i7s, just with more power than your desktop at home for no reason.
I took an introductory programming class. It was not this past fall, but the fall before that. And our professor had made this little supercomputer out of like 5 Raspberry Pis. I don't remember. I think he just made it as like a proof of concept it was to do some sort of model thing, but it was, and it just ran like this really light version of Linux. I think it was crazy.
Is it butter? Just cream.
Yeah, dude.
That's another thing. Like,
That's very affordable too.
Yeah, those are like $30 a piece or something. $35 a piece. The little Raspberry Pis.
But boy,
Yeah, you never.
no, I mean I've seen them, but what, $40?
I mean, you gotta get. It doesn't come with a keyboard or memory or anything.
Boy,
So,
show me $40.
buy.
It does say affordable. I'm already skeptical.
So this is the new one, right? I don't know.
the rest of the world.
Oh. Well, that's not gonna help us, is it?
Is this gonna give us some price, or
You have to go to checkout. Uganda.
ooh,
$35.
damn, dude, what? He's not even lying.
You can pick it up in 18 minutes if you live in Chicago.
Whoa. And you only need like 4 or 5 of these, is that what you said?
Yeah, he had 4 or 5 hooked. Now you have to put like an SD card in there, and obviously it doesn't come with a keyboard or any
Right.
interfaces. You have to have a monitor. So
I mean, I own all these things.
yeah,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
These are really
I'm trying
popular
to have a
to
supercomputer boy.
make. So this one has a 1.4 gigahertz quad core ARM processor.
Whoa.
This one's only got 1 gigabyte of RAM, but actually, this is like
But
the,
you said
the
5.
standard. This one's got 32 gigabytes of onboard storage.
Whoa.
This one, I don't know what the different formats are, so
Yeah, with research, I'm sure.
there might be more powerful ones, but like the PlayStation Classic or
I'm
whatever.
liking this
just came
very
out.
sassy rest of the world option, dude. It's like, here's the main countries, but also just like if you're the rest of us,
This one
normies living in some other country. Damn, dude.
So anyway, the PlayStation Classic is essentially just a Raspberry Pi with like a custom operating system on it.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And a bunch of like ROMs loaded.
Mm-hmm.
So you can make your own for much cheaper and better.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Better,
I've
better
seen that
performing
online.
ones.
That's awesome.
But anyway, yeah. So I guess, I mean, as you probably know, I've always kind of, I guess, wanted to be a writer in some form or another, poetry or music or something. But even now, like, probably if I could do anything, it'd either be like comedy writing, podcasts. I mean, like, if my bills are just being paid by something, and like, sure, like, I would love to do a podcast for life, like, to pull a Joe Rogan, like, have that be something that I can primarily worry about. Also, it'd be really dank to just, I don't know, be a weightlifter. I don't know. It'd be pretty tight. Like,
Powerlifter.
I don't know, bodybuilding, powerlifting combo, like.
I gotta go with
Power
Larry
building.
and say I would be a race. I'd try to get into racing.
Yeah, if someone's paying my bills and like maybe sponsored me or something like that, that would be like the first go-to. Like, yeah, see me on the track, boy, and not here, somewhere south where I can drive all the time. Maybe
For sure.
you
Yeah.
know, somewhere in a desert town somewhere.
This podcast is relocating to
I feel
California.
like-
We all
I-
know that.
I feel like I don't know I mean, I guess that was the question, but I just think that you could. I think you can do that now. You know what I mean?
What,
You can-
race?
you can do that now,
yeah, with what money, boy?
dude. It's not even that hard anymore.
It's still pretty expensive to
Yeah.
put a car together and then join an autocross group, dude. I don't.
Well, no, like to be a professional autocross driver, sure.
No, I mean.
No, you can
casually.
be. No. It is really not. You have a WRX. Your money is spent already.
Oh no, I'm not driving that in autocross, bro.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's not. That's what I'm saying. It's really not that hard. Like, I mean, people are doing it right now. Fucking 19-year-olds are doing it right now.
With daddy and mommy's money, dude.
Not always
and tires, fuel.
Yeah, no, I
like
get it.
roll cage,
I know.
helmet.
I mean, I hear.
Dude, that's a lot of money.
Safari Hyundai Elantra.
That is at least $5K right off the top.
Mm-hmm. With a 5K Civic, and then you know what I mean? Like,
Right, I ain't got that money, bro. That's 20 G's we're talking just to be casually part of something. Like, not even professionally. That's a lot of fucking money.
Compared to
living
to
that
other
Hyundai
things, not
rally
really
car
good.
life.
Although the boys of
Fall.
Top Gear a long time ago, they did like, can you join a rally
That's what I'm saying.
thing
Dude, you can
for
budget
the same
it.
cost as it would to be a avid golfer or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they were pretty close to the price point, but also that was like West England or something like that, where that's more common.
Yeah, it's not.
Like,
It's
motor
not as
clubs are
hard
more
as I
common
think
out
you
there.
think it is, dude. It really isn't that
But
hard.
even at the price tag of 2 G's, bro, that's still pretty steep.
I mean, I get it.
To
dude.
be in a casual group of people.
But it's not like that car stops being worth money. Like, it's an asset. It's not just like I've.
Until you wreck it.
And yeah, until you. Well, insurance for doing track stuff is really expensive,
Oh, I'm
Sure.
sure.
and no one wants to buy a car that you beat on unless they're gonna buy it specifically for track driving.
Yeah, you buy
So,
it, it's yours for life if you're gonna race it.
Yeah.
mhm. So. Yeah, that's expensive. I thought about a lot of people say
think you guys
say
are
you
overthinking
should
it
learn how
a
to
lot.
like drive go-karts good first, and that makes you a
Sure.
better driver.
Mhm.
And that's not so
Kinda.
bad.
Kinda. Because the way weight distribution works in those is not.
Yeah, how
there's no
Gs are
sway. There's no
distributed and
sway
stuff,
or
yeah.
anything like that, and.
But I'm
it's
sure it
different.
gives you like racing sense.
Well, I think it's more
And-
about the lines if you're doing
Yeah,
that. It's
right.
about,
Yeah, learning how to car
Yeah.
control and
yeah,
I think it's more
About
about
decision
acceleration through
making and
lines and
stuff.
stuff like
Yeah.
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 But nothing beats the feel of a larger vehicle, right? Like
Sure.
I mean,
oh, you gotta practice with what you got, but
yeah.
or with what you're gonna use.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a track for karting not far from us, and that is.
Real close.
there's an
Per-
autocross track not far from us.
Oh, really?
Yes,
I actually did not know that.
Tire Rack. Really?
They have an
hold
autocross?
they
No.
hold
Yeah.
huge.
There's one in
events.
Plymouth, too.
Massive.
Oh,
Massive
wow!
events.
I had no idea. I knew they had the track, but I just thought it was for
Nuh-uh.
Well, they test tires there.
HR stuff
Yeah,
or
they,
something.
yeah, they do
They
that
test
too.
tires, but
Yeah, massive events.
Whoa!
Dude. Yeah. They have you ever noticed like once or twice in a year, like when you go to South Bend, you just see like a bunch of just redonkulous cars. Have you ever been out there when that shit is happening?
Sometimes I see.
You'll see like
yeah,
GTRs
I
and
just thought they
240s
were
with,
like car
numbers on the
shows or
side.
something.
No, they're out there
Whoa.
for that Tire Rack. Yeah,
Man,
those
how
are
have I been
autocross
asleep
clubs,
on
but
that?
They're like traveling autocross.
yeah, they
clubs.
usually are traveling. Yeah.
Nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but you can do that, but that costs a trailer and a truck to pull it, and the
Sure.
car and the tires and all.
No,
for
but
them.
I'm saying you're talking on a scale much bigger. That's if you're doing that for professional. You know what I mean? You can do it for cheap. I know
Well, that's
you
not
can.
professional.
There's-
That's casual too.
There's people that are doing it all day, every day for real cheap on a budget, broke as fuck doing it. I mean, it's about knowing how to do it yourself, right? Being able to do the work yourself, being able to scavenge junkyards, being able to, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It just takes a little bit of know-how, and you can do it yourself pretty easily. Like,
True. But it's also expensive still, even to do that. And I'm sure it adds up fast if you start breaking shit.
Oh yeah, dude. You don't want to know what like you start tearing up a couple tires and you're like,
There's
oh, God.
$1,000.
Yeah, oh, Jesus.
for sure.
Oh, geez.
You like your set of wheels goes to complete shit. You're like, oh.
That's most of it right there. That's
yeah.
most of your budget.
Yeah.
Your suspension
Mm.
fails.
Mm-hmm. You like bend a tire rod. and you're
Power,
like,
steer- power steering goes out.
well.
Most
then-
of those people don't have power steering, I don't think.
What?
There's not many hardcore groups anymore, bro.
Mm,
Everyone's got
okay.
power steering these days.
Maybe in classic racing. Well, I'm getting a little bit sketched out about this not crashing
Why?
because this is like a 6 gigabyte file.
Interesting.
I don't know what critical mass is.
Well,
Are we
is
over
that
here
stacking?
talking?
Is that stacking the other with it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He just started the recording again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so it would only have to render half of that. Though.
Yeah, at a
Correct.
time. Yeah.
Right, I just don't want it to.
Wait,
like,
does it not render at the end?
Whoops. I just don't want it to like memory overflow.
Why are we doing this on the podcast?
We're letting people know how it's done.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Race car.
I feel like, I don't know. I felt like those were more hobbies that you guys can achieve at any level. You know what I mean? Like, not like
maybe.
Perhaps.
Eventually, but like not right now.
I don't know, maybe that's the problem. Maybe we gotta just say yes, we can do it.
dude, I'm telling
Growth mindset.
I don't know where you're getting the funds from, boy, but
Figure it out.
figure it out.
After something breaks.
We're gonna start. No, we're gonna start flipping bricks. I guess is what we're
you.
doing.
Right, and
The
it's
o-
never
the,
just one person. You
The
know what I
okay
mean?
so rally cross
like
team.
literally 3 people's money can be combined to one car, and then one person drives it. You know what I mean? It's not that. It really isn't as lofty as you guys are making it seem. Like it's pretty wild.
So supposing that we have money to start with.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we're all only kids. Who's gonna share? Not me.
I mean, I don't care. I just,
We gotta start selling that bandit merch.
Yo, true. Get please.
Bandit fueled or race.
all
car
right, let's
dreams.
finish this off here.
Yeah.
Are there
Once
any
upon a
other
time, we all had
childhood. No, for real. Are there any like childhood like big dreams, not like careers or anything, but any like big dreams that you like feel like are still achievable, or there was like something that was maybe you had like a grandeur idea or like idea of some type of grandeur that you like hold dear or anything like that?
I could move to South America and be a warlord. That's achievable. Y'all never wanted to do that? Be like Hugo Chavez, a liberator. and
I
then
think
an
he's
oppressor.
naming us, Larry.
Mm-hmm. it would appear so.
I guess we're not ready to talk about the dark side of human personality yet.
On next podcast.
Mm.
No, I mean, I guess I don't know. For me, you know, as far as those things, I never thought of things I wanted to do, but I always thought of things that I'd be good at. You know what I mean? I never thought of it as something. I never even really spent a lot of time thinking about what it is that I like versus what I'm good at.
What about
So-
like? Did you ever have an idea of a type of like your dream home or something like that, or where it would be located? And
I always
I think
wanted to
that's a
buy
different
a
podcast.
castle in Europe
For sure.
and like renovate it. But then I heard living in a castle is not as all it's cracked up to
Probably not.
definitely not drafty.
be.
Dude, no, I want to live in a fucking garage. Dude, I'm talking about garage home, dude. That's the life.
I
One
got
of
a
those,
garage right here for you.
one of those containers.
farm like
Bone
barn-
garages.
barn garage or something.
Bone garage.
Boy
That's
Voyage.
That's the name of my Pornhub channel.
Wait,
And it's just about having sex in cars.
Bone garage.
I feel like we might,
cosplayers getting cock in cars.
The 3 C's. Let them know.
why is Jerry Seinfeld a recurring person on this channel?
Do you like jazz?
Do you like jazz? Let me play some for you.
You like some skin flu?
Barry B saying, "Do you like jazz?" But every time he says jazz, it cuts to Larry dicking a girl down in the car.
Ooh, that'd at least be on top page of Pornhub for a couple days. At least one refresh.
I give it a good 6
Only
hours.
if we don't show our faces.
All right. Glenn never wanted to be anything more than or less than CEO
Ted
of
Mosby.
some $1 million company.
I just have a feeling he just wanted to be Ted Mosby.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah,
Jeff Bezos.
I mean that's basically it. I went
don't-
from small and hairy to swollen bald.
I don't think I want to be that guy. No way.
his wife's about to be like the fourth richest person in the country or whatever after the divorce.
Oh man,
Isn't that crazy? All right,
time
all
for a
right.
sex change. Here we go, boys. I gotta swoon this
Dude,
man.
I was listening to a different podcast. I don't remember what.
Whoa, we're gonna talk about
No,
podcasts
it
on
wasn't. It
podcasts?
wasn't a podcast. It was. We had
Podception.
Christine and I who went out for breakfast with our friend Nick and our friend Brian, and Brian was like, "Yeah, he's like, I know this girl, and she's like, every day I DM Jeff Bezos nudies."
Genius. Absolutely
hoping
fucking
he'll notice
genius.
me.
Why wouldn't you do that?
I'm
That
about
is
to start
genius.
doing that.
Start doing
Maybe
that.
I can unlock Jeff
Start
his
tucking it, dude.
Pandora's box of love.
All right, so all our dreams were crushed in the face of hard work and challenge.
We let our dreams become memes.
Yes. And now we are memes.
Hit us up, Jeff Bezos.
Call me.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.